Too much button clicking. What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the live stream edition of the Flying Midwest podcast, celebrating 1 year with you now. We are super excited to be doing this live with you. We are looking forward to seeing what you have to say. We're looking forward to sharing what we've been doing the last year with all of you, and kind of just getting some feedback from you too. So welcome to the 1 year anniversary. And welcome to Madi and Trevor. Are you guys as excited for this live stream as I am? About damn time. So, no, we're rolling now. We're rocking and rolling. So, to get us started, 1 year, you guys, what do you think? You've committed to things to more than a year. Yeah, there you go. No, the face I just made is because everyone watching the live is going to see it, but I hovered over something and I screwed up the live. We're professionals, everyone. I promise. It's going to look so weird, but I never promised to be good at this. Anyway, yeah, Madi committed to... Yeah, it's... yeah, it's all... Oh, they can't hear Madi. Oh, hell. The Badger pilot has reported we can't hear Madi. Dear the Badger pilot, can you see her now? Or hear her now? No, I know, I messed it up. Technical difficulties. All right, Mr. Badger pilot, help us out, my man. Can you hear her? If they can even hear you. Oh, for crying out loud. It's just us in here. Us and the Badger pilot. That's Madi. All right, hang on a second here. I'm sorry. Technical difficulties. Maybe all they need to hear is me. Oh, for crying out loud. Well, he says Jim and Trevor now. He's saying he can hear Jim and Trevor. Well, you remember how I advertised this in the actual episode and I said, I don't know if this is actually ever going to work? Here we are. Yeah. This is going to be the worst episode of this podcast ever. Yeah, it's all me. I don't understand why this isn't working. It's all Jim. Yeah, that's just Trevor again. How can you get Jim and Trevor mixed up? Trevor's the one you can't hear. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to be back in just a second. I'm going to try to fix this nonsense. We didn't plan on that. I didn't plan on having a standby. This worked the last time I did this. So, where is my guy, Ryan, with the old Super Arrow Live to tell me how badly I'm messing this up? All right, desktop audio. That's supposed to be on. Everything looks like it's on. This is freaking embarrassing. Yeah. Oops, all Jim. All right, anyone who can actually hear me, hang on a second. I'll be back in a second. You're going to just get a weird transition screen and then me not talking. See ya.
Best.
It's being recorded too.
Trevor, what the hell are you talking? Figured it out.
Welcome back to the Flying Midwest podcast. This time with audio.
Oh my gosh, am I on? Is this thing on?
It looks like it's all working. Can you guys hear everything all right? Badger pilot to the rescue. What do you got, man? You know what? Forget it. We're just going to talk for a bit, and we'll go from there.
Yes!
Victory! See, all it takes is a little bit of trial and error. So,
Hey, Jim, I can hear you. I can't hear Maddie.
it's because Maddie isn't talking.
And now none. Oh, good.
I think he's messing
Jim?
with us.
Okay.
I am just messing with you.
It's not okay.
All right,
Should
Badger
we
pilot, you
start
can't hear
that
us
again?
because we weren't talking. So, let's start over because why not? So, those of you who didn't hear, welcome to the Flying Midwest podcast, 1 year anniversary. I'm sorry that we've repeated this 7 times, but now that we're on a roll, we're good to go. So, Maddie and Trevor, 1 year thoughts. What do you got?
What a wild
Well,
ride.
For real. I wanted to make I committed to something for a year joke, but I feel like I spent that one already. So
But nobody heard
I'm
it.
just
Nobody
right.
heard it, and
But
you've been
I
a
heard
pal for
it
longer than a
and
year.
Yeah, exactly. Jim had an echo.
I think it's because Trevor has his audio on, doesn't he?
Nope.
No. One of these days, we're going to get this all figured out. That day is not today.
That's okay. I forgot to tell my parents that I'm live streaming. I'm gonna tell them now.
Okay.
They're in Florida. Lucky ducks.
I'll be in Florida next week.
Taking uppers and downers.
No, that'll be after. It's gonna be a great. It's gonna be a great flight down.
So I take it you're flying down with the military.
No, I'm going on vacation.
Oh, well, that's fun too.
That
Yeah.
sounded more disappointed than I think it should have. Are you
Lot
are you excited? Where are you going?
Fort Myers.
Fort Myers singular.
Fort Myers. Maddie.
Trevor.
Maggie's.
Okay, now you sound like you're four.
So, for those of you who are
Why?
regular listeners to the Fly Midwest podcast but don't see the behind the scenes, this is exactly how it goes when we record episodes. We just goof around. At any rate,
We're a real podcast.
we are. So, to get us started, let's give Maddie a rundown of how things went with Rob.
Yes, I would love to hear about it.
You would, wouldn't you? It was awesome.
That is what I said. Do tell me. Please tell me all about it.
Oh, it was like stellar. One of our best interviews ever.
Was it because I wasn't there?
No,
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Shut up, Trevor.
that has nothing to do with it. No, it was a really good episode because Rob Ryder has so many different things that he could have talked about and made.
I think we just had
any of it.
I honestly think that we pretty much had a sampler of everything.
Absolutely.
You go to the restaurant and you order the generic sampler. Well, Jim kind of reinvented himself like 5 different times.
That's Rob.
And we got a little bit. I'm sorry, Rob. What did I say?
You said Jim.
Rob. Oh. Okay, Jim reinvented
Oops,
himself.
all Jim.
So Rob Ryder's reinvented himself like 3 or 4 different times in the aviation
Yeah.
industry and his own professional careers. It's really pretty incredible.
That's very cool.
You should have
kind
been
of
there.
ties into. I know. I wanted to be there, Trevor. Wasn't by. Well, it was by choice. I could have probably found a way, but it would have been very awful. But Jim, can I segue? Is this okay?
You can go ahead.
This sounds a lot like the new venture you've been embarking upon. Isn't that right, Jim?
What, me reinventing myself? 12 times.
Sort
over?
of. Talking to people who have been doing that.
Yeah.
Segues are hard. Hey.
Yeah, I've now recorded 3 full episodes of Fly the Transition. And for those of you who aren't familiar with that, that's the other podcast that I've started up where the Badger pilot also gets Jim and Rob mixed up too. So, at any rate, Fly the Transition is the other podcast I'm working on. That is where I interview other pilots. We talk about their transition into a second career in aviation. So, I'm not going to spend too much time on that because that's not what this episode is about. This is celebrating us in a year. But at any rate, that has been a really fun adventure to start talking to these different people. And I'm booked through April in that podcast, and we're not going to get too deep into it yet because we're going to have a whole segment for this in this podcast. We are booked through April in this podcast as well. So a lot of content to record coming up here in the next couple of weeks. But there's so much cool stuff coming up.
You know, I think looking back over the last year, when we we were very choppy, very
kind of like this.
Well, no, very different. It was very different. You look at like our first episode, you know, we were talking about, you know, cold weather ops and, you know, addressed egress and, you know, what do we do in the middle of wintertime and weather and a bunch of other stuff is kind of what we originally started off with, and CFI minutes and things like that. And we just really kind of morphed into just a conversation. You know, originally my pipe dream was to have a little bit of education moments, have a little bit of conversation with, you know, all around people from the Midwest. And really what it morphed into is getting some pretty high profile names coming on board and, you know, having a lot of fun, because that's really what it boils down to, is having a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'd agree.
My sister's here.
Hi, Lydia, from all of us
Hi,
here
Lydia.
at the Fly Midwest podcast. And Maddie, I guess.
I love you. Oh, you guys want to meet Piper?
This is
Let
turning
me guess,
The one I
Piper
yell
will-
at every episode?
Let me guess, Piper needs to go out for a
No,
walk.
she doesn't. I actually took her earlier, so she's fine. Come here. I know. It is hard. This is Piper.
See, this is something that with an audio media that we normally have, you don't get to experience watching Piper.
Exactly.
But now we have video for this.
Isn't she cute?
One time only.
With her
Is
pearl.
that a necklace?
These are.
Oh, good.
Thank you, Lydia. Actually, this was Lydia's Christmas present to Piper, and mine too, because I didn't get her anything. Because I'm the worst mom ever. Yes, she has
Fur
pearls
baby.
now.
In fairness, this is a
Yeah.
very special occasion, so thank you for dressing up, Piper.
You're a good girl. You want to go down now? Yes, probably.
So
She's a good
I
girl.
think to piggyback on what Trevor has said, I think that organically we just ended up in this space where we had this one vision of doing one thing, and as we started getting different names and different people on board, it turned into something totally different. And that's okay. I mean, this has been a lot of fun. I mean, we have conversations with some great people from around the region, and it's just fun, you know.
Yeah. What do you think, Maddie? Should we
Hi,
continue what we're
Mom.
doing?
Maddie's too.
I'm-
So Maddie's.
I told my
being
family and they're
important.
being supportive. So, you know.
Oh,
I also was excited, so I didn't hear the last thing you said. Sorry.
this is really just all about Maddie and bringing her family on board. Now, if Maddie would only listen to the
Hey,
podcast, and give
I'm
some
giving
listens-
us viewers
You are.
here.
We're up
You're
to 10
welcome.
now.
Sweet.
Are we really?
Three of which are, us.
Us.
3 of which are Trevor logged in by himself. So I think to
Guilty.
celebrate this a little bit too, let's talk about some stats for the year.
Let's hear it.
So
I'm actually kind of curious about this.
over the course
too.
of this year, we've put out 25 episodes of the Flying Midwest podcast. That's 1,343 minutes of content that we've created. Now, what you don't know is you can probably triple or quadruple that for the amount of time that I've actually cut out where we're screwing around and not recording quality content. We're making bloopers and memories and having a good time. But what we publish is 1,300 minutes or so. We have had across all different platforms, Spotify, Apple, all the things. We've had 13,700 downloads of the Flying Midwest podcast. Each episode averages between 400 and 600 listens, just depending on what it is.
I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah. The other thing that's
pretty
pretty cool. Anyone have any guesses? What is our most popular episode?
Ooh.
I think you told me and then I forgot. So now this is a real guess.
So this could be for anybody. If you're listening along with the podcast, I shouldn't say listening along. This is video. If you're watching along on the YouTube machine, send us a message. What do you think the most popular episode we've had is? That is, if you've listened to the podcast or participated as a member of the podcast crew. Because Maddie doesn't listen, but she's still here. I'll give this another. You two guess first while we're waiting for any texts to come in from.
The comedian. Mom, did you listen to that one?
Is the comedian? The comedian is all the episodes because me and Trevor and Maddie are in all. Of
Yes.
them.
I want to say the Women in Aviation or the AOPA CFI of the Year, Amber
Peterson. Okay.
Amber Peterson.
So, Aviatrix Power Hour or Amber Peterson is Trevor's vote. Maddie.
I was gonna say the Aviatrix Power Hour, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Our buddy the Badger pilot, either Brian Turner or Super Aero Live. Good guesses.
That one
And-
was so much fun to record. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
That was thrilling.
Super Aero
I enjoyed that.
Podcast Live.
We're a podcast live.
Brian Turner on the first day we had, or what was it? Was it the first day that we had him on for April Fools?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's what Maddie's mom's talking about. The comedian
Mhm,
has got to
yes.
be Brian Turner.
Yeah, that's got to be
Yes.
Brian Turner.
Let's
He's
not
professional. We're not.
let's not inflate his
Yeah.
head too much though. Actually, the
No.
number one episode. I'm going to do the top 5 here.
Ooh.
Number 5, talking about training. That was our second episode. So that's the first episode Maddie's on.
Oh wow.
Yep. Number 4.
No, I did winter. I did the winter weather one.
That was episode 3.
I thought. Was it really?
I mean, no, maybe it was. Now I don't know what I'm talking about.
I don't know.
Talking about training is episode 2 is talking about training.
Okay.
All right, back to where we were at. Number 4, ATC advice with Waterloo Jack.
Hey.
Congrats for making the list, Waterloo Jack. Number 3, a just plain silly episode with Ryan Turner.
Okay, so we were up there.
Yeah. Number 2 with 619 total plays. Learning from the Best with AOPA's 2021 CFI of the Year, Amber Peterson.
So okay.
All right.
The number 1 episode of the Flying Midwest podcast over 2022. Season 1.
With how many views or how many listens?
730 listens, and that's not counting what's on YouTube. I don't have those numbers in front of me because we take each episode and we plug it on YouTube as well for people to listen to. Anyway, 730 plays across our streaming platforms. Episode 1, talking about winter flying.
Huh.
Interesting.
So
People clicking on and being like, "Oh, what's this?" and then listening and be like, "This is dumb," and clicking on.
well, according to the analytics, for the episode itself, over 80% of the people that have clicked that link listened through the entire podcast.
Oh, very
There's
nice.
some that drop off after we stop being funny and once the news is over, but
Well, and I'd be interested to know what the stats are for how many folks listen to the first episode and continue listening through all the other episodes. I don't know if there's any analytics that'll
no,
track
I don't
that.
have anything
Well, what were
like
the
that.
views on the last episode?
Oh, that's hard to say because it's still in progress. Normally it takes a couple weeks for the numbers to get up as people just
That's
kind
fair.
of listen as they listen. So, but typically,
What about-
when we do release an episode within the first 24 hours, we have over 100 listens easily every episode. That's
That's really
a
cool.
lot of times that's before I even go in there and start messing around and advertising at places. So that's people that have subscribed to us and are getting notifications that, hey, the new episode's up. And then when that new episode comes up, they listen. So probably people like our buddy the Badger Pilot. I hope he subscribes. But we do get a lot of people that before I even do the advertisement where we advertise will come and listen.
So, do those 100-ish of you thank you for listening to us all the way through? I think that's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Thank you.
So
And we're down to 6.
that's okay.
I think my family left.
Like, what are these knuckleheads doing? This is boring.
These knuckleheads. One knucklehead being family.
Yeah.
Family knucklehead. That's me.
So
That's all right.
the first little piece of extra content I want to share is a message we got from our buddy Waterloo Jack, who I think we
Oh,
might
speak
have
of the
to
devil.
actually consider changing his name.
Oh, because he's Detroit now, yeah.
He's Detroit Jack, which actually has a really cool ring to it.
It does. It sounds very I don't know. Yeah,
So
I like it.
for those of you who are watching here live, you're gonna just see a photo for a second as I transition to that next piece of content. So there's that for you. And then I'll click this button here for me. Oh goodness, I don't want to do that. It's saying I can't do certain things. Okay, yeah, I got it. I don't want to do that. You're mean. All right. Now I know what I'm doing.
Oh, good.
Now,
Famous last words,
yeah,
Jim.
famous last words. All right, let's.
Oddly enough, famous last words will be my
Hey.
famous
you
last
guys
words.
will only be able to hear this on the live stream. So mute yourselves on here and then unmute your volume so you can listen to Jack. Otherwise, it's going to echo and yeah. So,
Sounds good.
Here we go. Over to our buddy Waterloo Jack.
Hello again, Fly Midwest Podcast. It is Jack Parkin from episode 11 back in May on ATC Advice. Back then, I was working at Waterloo Control Tower in Iowa. And now in August, we moved to Detroit, and I've been training at the approach control there. Things are going good. We're currently in St. Croix Falls, Wisconsin with some family because I have to work on Christmas Day and New Year's Day. So we are doing a little in-between trip. So things are going great for us. We're enjoying our new lives out there in Michigan. I want to say congrats to Jim and Trevor and Madi on all their aviation accomplishments these last few months and striving to do better going forward. It's cool to see you guys hit 25 episodes in 1 year. It was pretty impressive. Hopefully you guys get 25 or more next year. It's good to listen to all the topics you guys discuss and the cool people you have on board. And hopefully you have some cool things lined up for 2023. I'm looking forward to it. So hope everybody has a really happy holidays and set some good aviation goals for themselves in the new year and strive to achieve them. Happy holidays, everyone, and Happy New Year.
Oh, that was awfully nice of him.
Yeah, that was.
Thanks for the message. Oh wow, that's how bloopers are made, folks. Thank you so much for the message to our buddy Waterloo / Detroit Jack. Early guest of ours. He's been a great supporter of us. So glad you're doing well, my friend.
Yeah, he's definitely got his work cut out for him over in Detroit.
Yeah, sure does.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I got to meet Waterloo Jack at Oshkosh. That was pretty cool. And the Badger Pilot. I got to meet both of them at Oshkosh this year. Unfortunately, these boys couldn't make it, but it was really great to meet you, both of you, and kind of get a little bit more insight into your aviation journeys. And it's so great to have, people who listen to the podcast and, willingly interact with us on a consistent basis. So, yeah,
Willingly.
pretty cool. Willingly. That is, important. I think I just notified my parents and they just hopped on for me and then hopped back off. So,
Not for all three of us. All right, fine.
No.
It's
Thank
emotional
you, Johnson
support.
family. All right, so what do we got next, you guys?
That is a great question.
That you're asking me for guidance on, I'm assuming.
No, absolutely not. I had it up and now I've lost it.
Here's actually what's coming up next. If she's
We're going to talk about
listening,
L.
we got Captain L, who I know had at least gotten through her instrument rating the last time we talked to her. She is going to call in at some point, probably around nowish. So while we're waiting for her, I'd like to do this. How about each of you maybe talk about your favorite moment from the last season?
Go ahead, Maddie.
Ladies first. No, shoot. I hate being put on the spot. I know you told me. No, it was a joke that didn't land. It's fine. All right.
No, it landed. It was
just,
it landed in the wrong landing zone.
Wrong airfield.
Favorite moments, Maddie. Let's go.
Do you want me?
I'm trying. Stop pressuring me.
Do you want me to just go?
Yes.
All right. For those of you who are watching the live stream, you've noticed a transition away from Maddie's large face in front of you to just Trevor's. All right, Trevor, bring it on, man.
There's so many good moments over the past year that I can't put my finger on it. I do think that everybody's interpretation of the Fast Five or whatever the Maverick references that Jim wants to put for the 5 quick question and response answers that we give to our guests.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Don't lie. I think that's been a lot of fun, just to kind of get the juices flowing and being able to kind of support or mock some of the responses. I don't know. As far as, gosh, I think one of the best is got to be Airplanes and Coffee, because we actually go ahead and help try to spread the word of this is an actual organization where they donate funds for FAA flight exams, and so on and whatnot. And so helping them out is actually pretty crucial to helping people really try to afford aviation. Obviously we all know that aviation is a very, very close-knit community. Jim, you look like you're...
No one else can see me but you, so...
Oh, really?
Yeah, keep talking.
All right.
I'm making faces while I'm trying to fix things and no one can see it. Don't ruin
that makes
Pay
sense.
no attention to the man behind the curtain.
But, back to my point, I think aviation, we all know, is a very tight-knit group of people. We're very generous, but at the same time, we also know that it's very expensive. And the price of admission is pretty high to be in aviation. So to be part of an organization or to help, advance an organization like Airplanes and Coffee to try to get, some more donations and things like that. It's one of the worst things in the world is to ask people for money. It's one of the things that I absolutely dread when it comes to like fundraising and things like that, or even, working as a cashier back in the day when I was, worked retail. It's like your total is going to be $108.74. How do you want to pay that? It's like when you talk and start, you start discussing money, it's like it's something you don't want to do. So airplanes and coffee has definitely been a huge mode of inspiration. Brian Turner's been, we've conversed off and on over the last several months that since we've had Brian Turner on, and he's just absolutely awesome. Gosh, I can't put my finger on any one event that was the best. DNR. Crap, I forgot his name. That one was a great one. Jason, thank you. That was a great time. I learned so much from Jason that I had no idea that was even a thing. All the little jobs that you have in the DNR as a pilot really has a big impact. So, there's Brian Turner.
Is he on?
No, he was on the screen.
Oh, on the slides.
Jim was sliding through. But what about you, Maddie? What do you think was your favorite?
Well,
Aviatrix.
I think that was good. I think my favorites, and I'm going to be general here because of a specific moment, I think that's way too hard to pinpoint, but I think the 2 times that I can recall of us pulling out our creative stops, I think those were my favorite episodes. And the 2 that I can think of are the one with Brian Turner, when we, went kind of above and beyond in trying to make it as goofy as possible. Just making up, goofy headlines and stuff like that. Absolute ridiculousness. So much fun. And the other one was, gosh, I just had it. This is the stuff that normally gets cut out of the podcast, and this is why I do a podcast and not a live stream. But
Kansas is not in the Midwest.
Kansas is not in the Midwest, or other states being in the Midwest or not being in the Midwest.
Arkansas is.
Arkansas being in the Midwest for some reason. But the other one was the Super Aero Live episode. That one was so much fun, and I think we can still only see Trevor. By the way, Jim.
Oh yeah, that's right. Thank you.
No worries. I don't mind not being seen, but poor Trevor thinks he's.
There's you and the Badger pilot. And now you talk some more.
That's fine. No worries. And that one too, we had to grow a lot really quickly in adapting to a live stream format, which ended up being way better in quality than this one is, but that's okay. It's because we don't have a super duper professional.
Are you judging, Maddie?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, the Badger pilot remembered the J3 Nordo fly-in.
That was so funny. It's just things like that where we really not had to grow, but we really took it by the reins and actually. Who else here? I'll wrap it up quick. Yeah, we just where we did that stuff, we really grew a lot as a podcast, and I think us together, working together, we had a really good time. And then how we did the podcast after that changed a little bit once we got that experience. I thought that was pretty cool.
What's going on, Elle? I don't know if she can hear us. Maybe she can hear us.
I can hear you. Sorry, I was trying to set this up. How are you guys?
Have you not been watching us?
Great.
We've been trying to set this thing up the entire time we've been on. So
It's been quite the adventure.
So we're not real live streamers. How have you been?
Good. How have you guys been?
We're doing pretty great.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah. Just got back from vacation, ready for more flight training. As usual.
Where'd you go?
I went to Florida, visit my family over Christmas.
Nice.
Wait, you weren't up here in Minnesota?
No. I'd have called you guys up. No,
No, you wouldn't have.
No, she wouldn't have.
That's not true. You know it. You both have airplanes, which means of course I'm going to try to mooch off you. Whatever. Whatever.
This isn't
anyway.
about us anymore. This is about Elle now.
This is true.
That's right. Where are you at now, Elle?
I'm in my apartment in Mankato.
No, I mean, where
We appreciate the candidness.
where are you?
I'm by the cloud.
Where are you
that
at
looks
your
like
training?
Simba.
No! That godforsaken meme.
Oh yeah, I brought it up. All right, she's in her apartment Trevor wants to know where you're at in training.
Oh, I got my instrument rating back in I was October 22nd, I think. 23rd,
Very well
something like that.
done.
Nice.
Thank
Nicely
you.
done.
And our program does tons of solo cross countries for the first part of commercial. So I've just been grinding those out. Unfortunately, the weather has been absolute crap the past like 2 months. So I have not flown in a long time, but when I was doing it, it was awesome.
That's great.
You know, I'm in the same boat because my airplane is down in Little Rock still, and I've not
Ooh.
had the chance to bring it back. In
Mm.
fact, I've had to hire somebody to hopefully fly it back for me
Yeah.
because the weather's been so bad.
Well, it was no
Yeah.
fly November, which extended into no fly December. So.
Yep, I would. Yep. Yeah.
So where's some of the fun airports you've been flying to?
Well, my first one I did St. Cloud, downtown St. Paul, and then back to Mankato.
It's not too bad.
And
Fun.
yeah, I honestly really like that route just because a lot of times after you take off of or like do a touch and go at St. Paul, they'll route you over MSP if it's not very busy.
Yep.
So it was not my first flight. It was, I think, the second or the third one. And I did that route again, and they took me right over MSP. And I will say, flying over that airport by myself was one experience I will never forget. And it was nighttime, so it looked really cool with all the lights and stuff. You could see all the runways, and I loved it. It was awesome.
Oh, that sounds great.
We get to, so with the military, we fly, you know, we fly up to Ripley, of course. We fly to Duluth. We fly a lot to Rochester too. And man, you guys down in Mankato, you guys do a lot of miles down there.
Yeah, we do.
You squeak a lot of pavement down there. I was surprised.
Yeah.
Squeak
I don't
a
know
lot
if
of
it's
pavement.
You like
I
that?
don't know if Mankato is number one, or it's either number one or number two for like the most takeoffs and landings in Minnesota or something in like a day or whatever.
Oh, I'd believe it. I'd believe
Yeah.
it.
Having been there one time, yes, I believe it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is chaotic. And now that I'm, you know, because for these cross countries, you actually file IFR and you do all your approaches at every airport, obviously, no matter
Nice.
if it's VFR or not. And well, obviously it is in the winter because icing, but you file IFR, and because it's so crazy in Mankato, a lot of times I just pick it up once I'm like 10 miles out because I'm gonna get a void time. I'm not gonna be able to get off.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
That's a huge, a lot of people don't really realize that. Your void time, you know, they give you maybe I've seen as little as 2 minutes to get off the ground. I've seen as much as, you know, 30 minutes.
yeah.
I know down in Little Rock, especially when you have the departures coming off, what is it, 422? I think it's 422, and going over North Little Rock, I literally had 3 minutes to get off the ground and to get into the airspace system.
Yeah.
And it's just nuts. And you have complex airspace coming out of the we call them the Goonies. That's their call sign for the active duty, the C-130 unit down there. Then you have the Hogs, which are the guard unit. And then you have the big airport. Then you have all the other little, you know, airports that are around there. It's got to be the same thing in Mankato, where you have all this traffic, especially the Mike Kilos, all your company traffic just inundating that airspace. It's a sight to be
definitely
seen.
It's chaotic. And I will say the one nice part about it though is, like, if we're in the cities and it's a nice day, obviously there's tons of other cross countries out. There's other our call sign is Min State, and the nice like cue for us is we can hear Min State first, and all of us are like automatically like, okay, who is it? And then you look, and if it's you, it's you. If it's not, it's not. But it's like every time Min State, you're like ready to go.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So what's have you started envisioning what your next couple aviation goals are? Have you started forecasting, looking in your crystal ball as to what kind of career you want?
Yeah, I've kind of known since I started that I wanted to follow in my dad's footsteps. And most likely go to Endeavor or one of the regionals and then go to Delta. But yeah, right now I'm just focusing on getting my commercial multi is what we do first, and then we do a single engine add-on. So I will do all these cross countries, and then we learn all the commercial maneuvers, and then we move on to the Seminole, build hours in the Seminole, do all that stuff, and then we get our commercial multi, and then we do single engine add-on. So that's kind of my goals for right now. And thankfully, I was able to get into instructor ground school, so I'll be taking that next semester, which I think is crazy when I sit back and look at that, because I was talking to you guys less than a year ago about, oh, I'm going to get my private soon. And here I am signing up for instructor ground school. It doesn't even feel real.
Well, that's awesome, though.
That's so cool.
Their program is really 0 to hero. And it's very accelerated from what I gather. You know, going into getting your multi-commercial first. I mean, multi-commercial, that's going to be your big buck, your big ticket item, because multi-engine, I don't care where you're at, you're looking at $400 an hour minimum. And you get really nice Seminoles down there. It's all glass, and yeah, they're beat up a lot because they're training airplanes. But by and large, that multi-time, I mean, minimums for the airlines is 25 hours, or no, is it 25 hours? I think it's 25 hours. And it's so expensive. I'm missing 8 hours. It's like, I need to figure out how I'm going to afford that. I kind of wish that I would have gone the way of kind of like what you guys do, is multi-commercial first, but I did my multi-commercial in such an accelerated course. It's like, 3 flights, 4 flights, you're done. Go take your check ride and you're good to go.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It is it's a very, for a 141 school, it's very like lenient. I feel, obviously we follow a syllabus, you have to check all of your boxes, but everybody really can go at their own pace. In fact, I have a friend who goes to UND, and I was talking with her, and she's like, the fact that you can double dip and you can be working on your commercial and be an instructor ground school and have that done already when you start is crazy. She's like, they won't even let you sign up for it until you have that rating done, which, like, if you didn't have it done before the registration window, like, then you can't even do it. It's like, you sit.
Yeah. Sitting is the worst thing if you are going through flight training. And for any amount of time, really, you get to a month, 2 months, and you haven't flown. It's not fun. It sets you back.
Well, that's how I feel right now. I haven't flown at all with this crappy weather. I'm like gonna get up there and be like, how do you even shoot an approach?
It'll come back to you really quickly.
Oh yeah.
After you get your private, really it's mostly the primary training. If I find in private and commercial, or I'm sorry, private and instrument, those, if you take big breaks, I have an instrument student right now where he took a big break and he's struggling just to get back and do his approaches progress check. So that's been an adventure, especially because I'm brand new at CFII stuff. So that's going great, but you'll get back to it.
Yeah. Flying solo, doing all those approaches has definitely boosted my confidence. I actually feel like a real pilot now. Like, I can go up there and fly. I know how to control this thing. I know how to talk to tower, to ATC, everybody, and it's not nerve-wracking or scary anymore at all.
Oh, good.
And you take up friends that are not pilots, and you sound like a real pro. And I'm always amazed by it, because I've seen a lot of the transition, being new into the military side of the house, whereas a lot of people come in to the military side, they're going into pilot slots, and you have fresh privates with a bachelor degree. You're looking at 40 hours. They graduate their undergraduate pilot training. They maybe have 150, 200 hours. Then they do their 50 hours at their like their C-130 or C-5 or whatever specific airframe that they have. And it's like, crap, I got more time than these guys, and I'm sitting there in the engineer seat and listening to these guys try to fumble through, talking to ATC, You're getting behind the airplane, and it's like, yep, I remember what it's like to be in that seat, being that far behind. And it's like, you bring up multi-engine being in the Seminole. I mean, that thing clips out a pretty good clip compared to like a Warrior or an Archer.
Mm-hmm.
So you're looking at your mileage almost doubles when you're coming in for the approach, and so you have to configure early, and you have to really plan your descents and manage your energy. And especially when you get ready to go to the airlines, it's coming for a descent, CRJs, they're a very slippery airplane. They don't want to slow down, so you have to manage your energy very well. So you're really learning that core skill, which I think is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like you're doing fantastic, and doing that instructor ground is gonna make doing like everything having to do with your commercial so easy. It's gonna make it so simple. Even doing your written, it's gonna be a cakewalk. So
well, I already took the commercial written actually.
Well, heck, we're done with that then. Get the instructor writtens out of the way. Those are just once those are done, it's way easier to get in the books.
My professor for commercial ground school actually said that if we got our written done before the end of the semester, the end of the class, he would not require us to take the final and would put an A automatically for our grade. So I was like,
very nice.
I'm doing that. Done. Which if you're, all of our quizzes were, he took all of it was either Jeopardy or Glam questions right out of there, made them our quizzes. So we were already fresh with all of them. So I probably studied for 2 days before the written, and I scored really well.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
See, I got to start doing that, because I'm starting to look at becoming a CFI, because now I have an airplane, and I'm thinking I'm going to start doing some, pro bono flight training, because I need to build hours anyway. So it's like, that's going to be my next big thing.
Jim's too, right?
Yep.
Hey, Jim, want to study together?
We'll see when I can actually get started. That's the question.
The Midwest CFI podcast.
I can't start a third podcast. My wife would murder me. Fair enough. I wouldn't have the space in my brain to do a third podcast.
We'll just retitle ours.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah, there we go.
Mm-hmm. Revamped.
Indeed.
New and improved.
Yeah. So we're really excited for your transition here, Elle, and keep us updated.
I will.
Let us know where the cheap fuel is. For those of us that are trying to, have fun.
Yeah, we our cross countries right now, they're just 3 hours, so I don't actually have to stop and get fuel anywhere. But we do have, I believe it's 1 or 2 cross countries, and one of them has to be that greater than 250 nautical mile leg. And my sister, my older sister, lives down in Kansas City, and there's an airport north of there that's like 275 nautical miles or something like that. And
there you
go down there, see her. I'm excited to do that. If I can fly with this weather, who knows?
Eventually.
It'll turn eventually.
Up there.
And then you're going to go into thunderstorms.
Fly, come visit me at Jabara over in Wichita. It's not too much farther. No obligation, but I'm always there. Always. I'm always flying, feels like. So
I'm always there. That's what it sounds like.
I live at the airport.
Well, you are a CFI, Maddie.
Yeah,
so
I know. Yeah.
It's your chosen profession, Maddie. Embrace it.
It is my job to be at the airport 24/7.
Yep.
Embrace it.
Oh, I am. Don't worry.
Well, Elle, we're so thankful for your participation on the podcast, just in general. A couple times that 3 times now that we've had you on. Your support of us and all that. It's great to talk to you again, and we're really happy you were able to come on tonight.
Thank you. Well, I appreciate you guys having me back on, and excited to see where everything goes.
Oh, I think the path is pretty clear.
Yeah, we know where you're going. Us, on the other hand, we're beyond help at this point. So.
Oh yeah, we're a disaster.
So, you take care of yourself, Elle, and have a happy New Year. All right.
Thank you. You guys too.
Take care.
You.
See ya, Elle.
See ya.
Bye.
All right. What you can't see on my screen, well, everyone listening can, or watching. I got to get into this watching thing. Our next thing we're going to do is I have a little clip that we're going to play. So I'm going to have you guys mute your mics again so you can listen to this. But
Okay.
we have a little bit of a clip to listen to from one of our listeners. Here we go.
Hey guys, it's the Badger Pilot congratulating you on a first year of successful and entertaining podcasts. Here's to the best for you guys in 2023 and beyond. My favorite guest, well, it wouldn't be a Flying Midwest podcast episode without mentioning Brian Turner from Just Plain Silly. Anything that guy touches is gold as far as I'm concerned. So being able to see one of my favorite YouTubers merge with one of my favorite podcasts was just awesome. That and, of course, the Wisconsin connection with the live Super Aero Live dual podcast showdown or whatever it was called. It was really entertaining to see that, and I'm glad I was able to catch it live. I was lucky enough to meet Madi in person at Oshkosh, and so it was awesome to put a face to that name and the voice. Jim and Trevor, look for me to try and seek you guys out in the future as I finish up my instrument rating and move on to commercial. The Anoka County Blaine Airport is right around that 250 nautical mile distance from my home airport, so I'll be looking you guys up soon. Anyways, thanks again, guys, for all of the awesome entertainment, the great episodes you've been putting out, and especially highlighting the importance of aviation in the Midwest, getting some awesome guests that show how Midwest aviators really do amazing things, not only in the Midwest, but nationwide and across the globe as well. So thanks again, guys, for the awesome work you have put in for this first year. I wish you nothing but the best in 2023 and beyond. See ya!
Oh, the end is my favorite part.
Yeah,
oh, you guys hadn't heard it yet. Oh, there's the delay.
You can't
So-
you can't go wrong.
Aw.
You can't go wrong with the Cias.
You can't.
No,
Um,
it is truly the pinnacle of our
Us.
podcast. Yes.
People are so excited for the Cias. They
Oh,
wait
yeah?
to the very last minute for the Cias.
yeah, that's the only reason they listen. They just wait till the end. They don't fast forward to the end. They just listen to the whole thing just to suffer through that. Then we get to the Sia, and that's their favorite part. There's got to be. That's how it works, right?
Yeah, right.
It couldn't be the bloopers, right?
Oh, for sure, not the bloopers.
Oh, maybe.
So here's
I
another
don't
thing
know.
that I'd like to do, in the spirit of sharing some of the things that we've enjoyed over the last year. And the last comment Badger Pilot made before this was the J3 Nordo fly-in. So with that, we're going to play a little bit of the episode from Brian Turner, where he listens to some news with us. And you can watch our live reactions as we play this thing. So
Well, it's going to take.
Let's jump into
30
some
second
news.
delay.
We're going to read some stories, and Brian is going to give us his reactions to those. I'm sure that he'll have some opinions as we go along here. So, probably not. Well, good thing we brought you on.
It's April Fool's. I'm just playing it straight. I'm just not talking.
Oh, that'd be great. Just play it
That's
straight.
your joke.
That's your joke.
So, a Midwest Aviators is receiving some mixed reactions after an off-airport landing in a Cirrus SR-22. The aircraft experienced an engine failure mid-flight, shocking, and the pilot.
That was fast.
Okay, and the pilot heroically landed the aircraft without power in a sod field. The landing has baffled many in the Cirrus community, leaving them to wonder: is this pilot the stuff of legend, or just too stupid to pull the caps? You decide.
My take is obviously he stole the plane. He's not a Cirrus pilot. I know enough Cirrus pilots out there to know that if it was an actual Cirrus pilot, you're not going to attempt to land it on a field. Oftentimes, just not even on a runway. Like even attempting to put it on the ground in one piece is not the first line of thinking with an actual Cirrus pilot. I think he stole the plane or pilot incapacitation.
Pops, yeah.
Yeah, there's something wasn't right. If he'd never flown one before, that's not how you do it.
Beautiful.
Good to know. In bigger and more important news, the state of Kansas has formally announced its intent to secede from what is considered as the Midwest. This movement is led by notable podcaster and self-proclaimed U.S. geography expert Trevor Norman. This has gained significant momentum after recent comments on his aviation podcast. Kansas will join Colorado in forming its yet-to-be-named region of the country. Norman has refused to acknowledge Kansas as a member of the Midwest and stands firm in the movement for regional independence that states such as Texas and California currently enjoy. He promises to continue to be a voice for change for Kansas.
Well, you guys know how I feel about the whole Midwest thing and the geography of the United States. So I I think Colorado is.
Would you like to join too?
What's that?
You want Texas to join too, so they can be their own conglomeration?
Texas is the middle, Colorado is the Midwest, and you guys are in the Middle East. That's how this works. If you put a line down the middle of the country, that's the Midwest, and there's the West. So I think you Midwestern people don't want to admit that you're on the East side.
For Middle Eastern.
I'm with Trevor on this one.
So we're Middle Eastern is what you're saying.
You're Middle Eastern, I'm Middle, and he's Midwestern. Yeah, he's Midwestern. That's what it is. Colorado's the Midwest. Yeah. And California.
Isn't Texas like its own thing though?
Texas is okay. I'm not like a Texan. I'm kind of here because my family's here. I'm not part of the
here.
I don't fit in. Yeah, Texas. I don't know. Texas is Midwest and Mideast. I'm in the East side, just on the Dallas kind of side of things. So I'm Mideast.
Mideast.
So basically like Turkey, right?
Yeah.
Mid by Mideast.
Makes sense.
So, what light sport lobbyists are calling a, quote, unprecedented win for general aviation, the FAA has announced that they can no longer keep up with the uptick in medical applications. In order to combat this, the government entity has begun to send sport pilot certificates to qualifying new candidates whose medicals are considered acceptable, which the FAA has indicated to be, quote, healthy and fit to fly, but has had one of those medical conditions we don't talk about, end quote. The FAA, instead of becoming more updated with their handling of medical conditions, old diagnoses, and, well, pretty much everything else, has decided that the sport pilot is the way to go for most folks. We have yet to hear if these special sport pilot certificates can be traded in for an actual medical sometime in the future, or if this is just early career denial. Instead of just denying you outright, they're just going to send you a sport pilot certificate and let you do your own thing.
I think that's a fantastic idea. I think they should have a sport pilot version of everything. Like I never wanted to go get my instrument rating because it was such a pain. I just wanted to get like a sport instrument rating just for pop-up clearances, just so I could do. Like I don't care about doing approaches, but I don't like being socked in. But no, I think they should have a sport pilot medical. Everything should have the sport. Like do you want to do this thing, but you don't want to put in all the effort? They should do it, or they should do like Disney and give you a fast pass where you just pay a little bit of extra money and they just. I don't know why they don't do that.
So they actually do their jobs. Yeah, that'd be great.
Explain it to me, because right now I've been flying someone else's plane for 4 months. The last time I bought a plane, it was 10 days, and it's like it is going so slow right now. Everything they do, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, registrations. I know people's registrations are expiring because they do the 3-month advance and then they just don't get another one, which is awesome.
So they're going to start issuing sport registrations too under that same
sport registration.
I don't know.
process?
The FAA has not yet claimed anything, but seeing as this is a trend and it's a downward one, I'm sure that it'll be soon. We'll hear about the sport registration.
I like it. I like to think of this as a light sport podcast. So I want to go to the light sport FISDO next time I get in trouble. Be like, okay, you've done something bad. Now move along.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad. So just
I like
light sport podcast. I think that's my favorite thing you've said so far.
All right. A hijacker sues airline after getting sucked out of an airline exit. After being promised by friends and other fellow aviator experts that pressurized cabins will not allow for the main door to open while in flight. And he said, I have reliable sources that say it's just a scare tactic, that nothing would actually happen. Thank goodness I have my parachute like Trevor Jacob. The hijacker, known only as Jimmy, he's the one who tried taking over Nor'easter Flight 1172 over Ohio. The aircraft did sustain substantial damage when the door opened in flight under pressure. Unfortunately, the airline's first officer got sucked out of the airplane as well, but also hitched a ride with Jimmy on the way down. Both men are unharmed. Now, the FAA and the NTSB are watching this case closely, and they're determining whether or not a new airworthiness directive needs to be implemented to label doors as dangerous and in-flight operation, authorized flight crew only, as to put a label on it. Of course, we'll continue watching this development as it continues through the civil litigation process.
I happen to know for a fact that if a door comes open in flight, you're getting sucked out. I proved it.
You did.
I did see that video. So that's fact.
It's 100%. That's why airplanes have seatbelts in them, because the doors pop open. Every movie I've seen where a door comes open in flight, people go out the side.
Should we talk about some events coming up?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
All right. So you've heard of some of these events for Oshkosh every year. You've got the Piper groups that fly over together. You've got the Cessnas to Oshkosh. Well, we're excited to announce Cirrus over Oshkosh, not to Oshkosh, over Oshkosh. A group of 500 or so Cirruses will fly just above pattern altitude and plan a coordinated formation CAPS deployment. They plan to float into the show with the Grace, not dissimilar to the U.S. Army's Golden Knight parachute team. Should be really impressive.
Nobody would be surprised. Nobody at all. I think it's more surprising when I go to Oshkosh and you see them all land together.
Calling all Super Cubs, the Johnsonville Municipal Airport invites you to its annual Nordo fly-in. They will have special seminars on see and avoid dynamics, tower at airport light gun signals, and traffic pattern cutoff maneuvers. All transponder, ADSB, and radios are strictly prohibited. Come on down and crush the party.
That was the best one. I mean, that was a really well-written news story. Sorry.
Are you a pilot who longs for the simpler times of aviation before all those EFBs? Join us for the E6B Top Gun 2022. Do you have what it takes to compete against the fast wheel spinners in the Midwest? Test your skills solving wide variety of aviation math problems with your trusty companion, the old school E6B. More information to m0a.com.
Hey everyone, it's
All right.
So, obviously we might have had a pretty good time with Brian Turner. I'm going to wait for this to catch up with Maddie and Trevor so that they can come into the conversation. But
I think it's hilarious.
I think that episode was one of my favorite moments of the podcast so far, where we were able to read stories and just get Brian's reactions to those stories.
It was fabulous.
My shocking comment was like well placed.
Oh, somebody enjoyed it, aka the Badger pilot. I believe that's what he said.
Yeah.
Oh no, that was you. Dang it, Trevor! You need to stop commenting. I just assume it's the Badger pilot if I see a new comment.
Well,
but
it could be the Badger pilot too.
It could be.
So
it was funny.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that I got gosh, I cannot talk tonight, which is thrilling because we're on live for the world to see, so that's cool. But
we
yeah,
normally
that
get to
was
edit the living daylights out of ourselves, so this is just how it normally is when we talk.
Yeah, we do a snap sound and we move on and we say it again, and it's
It's
not
not
terrible.
Really, it's not really a snap sound. It's like, let me do that again.
Or please don't put that in the podcast.
Oh yeah, Maddie says that an awful lot. She says that.
Oh yeah.
every
Just wait until
episode
your
before.
students find out that you're.
No, they will never know I'm on a podcast.
That's a
Nope.
That is
Famous last words, Maddie.
Don't tell all my students I have a podcast, please.
We already talked about this is their parting gift when they get their certificate. They get to find out that you have a podcast.
I think that'll be my leaving gift. As soon as I say sayonara, I'm going somewhere else, I'll be like, oh yeah, guess what? I have a podcast and I definitely talked about all of you. So they go and furiously listen to all of them and get our viewership up.
Yeah, there you
Oh,
go.
Hey, why are stats going really high now?
All 9 of them.
So I have one more message that I got. I have not listened to this yet, so we're going to be able to listen to it together. Well, I'm going to listen to it 5 seconds before you two, but it's a message all the same. So I'm going to hit play on this, and then I'm going to go into the fancy button machine and put on a better background as opposed to you just staring at us when we listen to this. So here we go.
What's up, Av Geeks? It's Ryan Dombrowski from Super Arrow coming at you, not so live. I'm actually walking down a sidewalk right now, but I wanted to wish everyone, just got scared by a rabbit on the side of the road. It made a lot of noise. wanted to wish you a happy new year and wanted to congratulate my friends here on this podcast, my new friends, on a year of podcasting. It's so cool. I think it's a really cool and fresh thing you guys are doing, and really appreciate the opportunity to have been part of it this year. So thank you for that. Everybody, stay safe, fly safe, and let's all fly together. Hope to see you guys at Osh. I don't know what else to say. Literally, just walk it down the street. Wish I could be there tonight. Hope the live stream goes awesome. We'll catch you somewhere in the sky. We'll catch you in the sky.
He's going to catch us in the sky. That'll make sense for you two in a second. Ryan was a great guest to have on, by the way. Fun guy to talk to. I really dig what he's doing with his live streams. I'm just, we're nowhere up to this caliber of Ryan's live streams as far as quality. So,
something to strive for.
Yeah, something to strive for. But we really appreciate the message. Really appreciate the time you spent with us on Super Podcast Live, as we called it when we hijacked your name and your podcast or your live stream to record our podcast. So.
Yeah, Ryan's one of those guys. I mean, all of our, that's just the that's the coolest thing, is that all of our guests have been very supportive. It's just they're kind of like us, just normal people, and it's like, hey, let's have a conversation. We're not territorial or anything like that, which, it's kind of it's in one way it's kind of surprising. But in the other way, it's kind of humbling.
I think it's just that this aviation community is just great. That, and I think even in that episode, Ryan talked about, in his unpopular opinion, you've got these different little segments, right?
Yep.
And we don't have to be like, oh, I fly a low wing, so these high wing guys, blah, 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 blah. We can just be one great community. And if you're looking at the chats, you can go ahead and ignore my son. I know that's you.
OMG, Trevor.
Where did that come from?
He's what you would refer to as a smartass. So.
Oh, that's so funny.
What
Where's
did I
Hannah?
say that,
I need some validation.
What did I say to get OMG?
I have no idea.
He's fawning over you.
He's being a 15-year-old smartass is what he's being. So I was going to play one more clip that was our Fast Five with Ryan. Should we do that, or should we start wrapping towards what we're going to bring next year? What do you guys think on your time?
I want to hear what we have in store for next year, because even I don't know.
Because you don't listen.
If you listen to the
That
podcast,
is not
it's
true.
a good idea.
No.
So
maybe
next year. That's a great question. Who do we have in store for next year? Well, we talked to Rob Ryder. Doesn't really count. That's still a 2022 episode. But who we have in store for next year? We have the president of Sporty's Pilot Shop will be on an episode coming up next year. John also hosts a podcast called Pilot Discretion with Sporties. So apparently I'm definitely echoing.
Yep.
That's one thing he's good for. He did tell me how badly I'm echoing. So I kind of knew that. I'm hoping it got better because I turned my headset volume down a little bit. But now I can't hear Maddie or Trevor. Anywho.
Very cool.
That's a blessing.
And, yeah.
And you heard that, so.
Mm-hmm. So we do have John coming on. That'll be a great opportunity to have him come aboard, and we can chat with him. So we also have, we're working on getting Liz from Jepson. We're not quite there yet. We've got some tentative dates with her, but nothing quite solidly determined
solidified.
Yet. So solidly solidified. That's the word I was looking for.
Solidly solidified. I like that.
We have.
I think we're doing another Women in Aviation one, right?
We plan on doing another Women in Aviation at some point in the year. I'm not sure exactly the timing on that yet. That one is not scheduled. We're talking about doing a CFI roundtable, bringing in different CFIs to come in and talk about that process. That's selfishly something that Trevor and I would like to put on so we can understand a little bit more ourselves about what that journey looks like to become a CFI, the things you need to know to actually run the business side of it, if you're doing Part 61 versus part of a school, and just that whole process and journey and how to make yourself a good instructor. So that's coming up. One of my favorite things that I've had come up so far is we have I was sitting in my garage one day minding my own business and got a message. And that message was from Kyle, who is the Midwest rep for AOPA, who'd like to come on and talk to us about all the things AOPA is doing nationally, as well as, talk about different things that are going on in the Midwest. So to have Kyle on will be really cool to get that AOPA side of things, that perspective, and just hear about the great advocacy that they're doing for aviation. So it'd be great to have them on.
I think that's going to be an exciting one, because I've been an AOPA member since the 90s. Since I first knew I wanted to become a pilot, and I've always had their magazines. My old neighbor, he's when we lived out in Colorado, he stockpiled all these magazines from AOPA from like the early 80s, when they had the turbine pilot section in there and whatnot, and like a lot of old stuff, and it was pretty awesome. I'm like, I'm hooked. And I couldn't even get a medical or anything like that yet. I was too young for all that. And yeah, I'm excited for that.
And one other one that I have booked as well, we have Tyler coming on. He worked with UND Aerocast when they had that starting to come up, kind of revamping that project. So we'll talk to him about the work that he has done on that. So that'll be exciting to talk to him as well. UND is a huge powerhouse of a program, as is Minnesota State Mankato. But to get the UND side of things and get North Dakota involved a little bit more in the conversation will be nice too.
Yeah, for sure. I watch so many UND Aerocast videos, and I recommend them to my students too. A lot of the information they have is really, really good. I mean, I'm sure all of it is, but the ones that I've seen for sure definitely have helped me through a lot of my stuff.
Oh yeah. Same.
So with that, Maddie, you're reading the chats, aren't you, Maddie?
Oh my God, Trevor!
I have a fan.
Is perfect. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I don't know why he calls himself Tim the Flyer either. I'll have to ask him about that. But
he steals the airplane when you're not looking.
Don't explain yourself.
In fairness, Hannah has had her moment on this podcast. Now, Noah is getting his own moment in this podcast, even though he's not actually participating visually. I know that's you in the chat because you've used that username before. Thanks for joining us tonight, bud. It's really nice to see you in here.
So where is Hannah? Is she around?
Hannah actually sent me a text message to warn me that, just so you know, Noah knows that you're live.
What
Famous
a good daughter.
Words.
Yeah, right. She's letting us know. You should tell her to come down here.
All right, well.
Come down there, not here.
Here's what we'll do. I'm going to text her real quick. We'll see if they both show up.
That would be hilarious.
Just so you're aware, Noah, if you show up, everyone's going to see you in your long underwear.
Oh, jeez.
So here's the problem that I'm going to have, though. She is going to echo really bad, I think. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these headphones off, and I'm going to give them to her and let her talk to you for a second. And then
sounds great.
After that, we'll start working towards wrapping up.
The Great Minnesota Goodbye.
The Great Minnesota Goodbye, where we've been trying to say goodbye to you for 15 to 20 minutes.
Hello, Alita.
Have a couple 2 Tree beers.
2 Tree?
Yes.
2 Tree beers. That's from the Bellied Up podcast. I stole that from Charlie Barron. So sorry, Charlie.
We should get him on there. If he had any sort of aviation background,
Even if he doesn't.
Even if he doesn't. Oh, could you imagine how much fun we would have?
Just a blast.
Oh.
Reach out to him.
We'll
It'll be fun.
The Manitowoc Minute.
She's coming.
She'll be here any second now. I think this is the highest number of viewers that we've had. We're at 9 viewers right now, I think, right?
Well, 6.
Are we at 9 again?
Oh, never mind. I read that wrong.
That's funny. This has been fun. You know, I was kind of skeptical about the live thing.
Oh, I know.
You know, it's like there's a lot of moving parts that I'm not technologically advanced on.
Clearly, I'm not either. Have you seen how this thing has been going?
Well, you've done a lot better job than I would have ever been able to do.
We are what is called getting there. So,
yeah, we're getting there.
Good grief. We have a spammer in the chat.
Yeah, it's my kid.
I know. It was a joke. I'm gonna start putting emojis in.
All right, Hannah says hello. She
Combat.
doesn't want to be live, so.
Oh,
Poor Hannah.
hi Hannah.
Oh, she's in the live.
Because of me.
She doesn't know how much she's in the
He
live.
ruined it for her.
You're right there. You see that? That's you. Okay.
I hear.
So, let's wrap this thing up, guys. It's been a great year. Look forward to all these cool things we're going to do next year. And it's been a blast hanging out with the three of you, the two of you, the three of us.
The three of us. Unless you have somebody else that you're trying to add onto the podcast.
Nope, it's just us.
Just us?
The
Okay.
three of
Yep.
us.
Oh, wait a minute. The Badger Pilot's got some commentary.
Oh, has done
No.
aviation videos making fun of different airlines. Oh, we should try to bring him out.
He
for,
could probably
April
fake his way
Fool's
through
Day.
an episode. I was thinking about that. I was.
April Fool's Day. Oh,
Something worth considering.
Brian Turner and Charlie Barons.
Oh no.
Whoa, hang on. Brian Turner and Charlie Barons arguing about what states are in the Midwest.
Yes.
That could be a whole
Golly.
thing.
That would be so funny. I love
The
it.
whole thing.
I hope it happens.
Ooh.
All right, guys. Should we do our thing, and then we've got a little. We've got grief.
What is
You okay,
happening?
Don't read the chats.
I'm embarrassed.
So, thank you everyone for joining us tonight. We appreciate you spending a little time with us this evening. We've got a little slideshow to end things out here, but we'll do the little sign off that you all come here for. So,
Until next time.
See ya.
see ya.
See ya.
And with that, the 2022 season comes to an end. Good night.
Well done. Well done.
They can still hear you, by the way.
So.
That's fine.